Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Today I have another very easy keto bread recipe for you. Today we are going to make simple keto garlic bread. This is so easy, it doesn't matter what level of cooking you are at, you can make this bread. And if you want a printable version of this recipe, you can check out my website at janet'sdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low-carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out videos every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you'd like to help support the channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and help support the channel. So while we do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Then lightly spray 4 6-inch sub bread molds with cooking spray. If you don't have any sub bread molds, you can see my article on how to make them out of foil, or you can just line a baking sheet and after everything's mixed together, you can just shape the loaves by hand. Then set your pans aside for a minute. In a large mixing bowl, combine 84 grams or around 3/4 cup of coconut flour, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 15 grams or around 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 2 grams or around a 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum or psyllium husk powder. You can also use gelatin powder if you can't find xanthan gum or psyllium husk powder. This is just to help your dough be a little bit more flexible. You're going to have to shape the dough into log type shapes. So you want to make sure that the dough stays together when you are shaping, especially if you're shaping by hand and not using a mold. So you don't want to leave the xanthan gum or xanthan gum replacement out. Add 5 grams or around a 1/2 tablespoon of instant dry yeast. This is strictly for flavor. It does nothing to help your bread rise or anything. I have told you guys many times coconut flour does not really rise, no matter what you do to it. So the yeast here is just to help your bread taste more like traditional bread. So if you don't have it or can't find it, you can leave it out. It's not going to ruin your recipe. Also, if you're sensitive to coconut flour, you can add some dry seasonings of your choice. I'm using 1 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1 teaspoon of dry oregano. This is going to give me more of the Italian taste to my garlic bread. Sift or whisk everything all together until everything is fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Add 4 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature so they stir in more smooth. Stir the eggs into the dry ingredients until everything is fully combined and all the dry ingredients are moist. Add a 1/2 cup of butter that's been melted and cooled. Make sure it is cooled. You do not want to add hot butter. Stir the butter in until everything is fully combined. Add 60 grams or around a 1/4 cup of room temperature plain yogurt or sour cream. Again, make sure this is room temperature so you have a more smooth dough. Stir everything together until everything is fully combined and you have a smooth dough that's formed. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and push the dough to the center of the bowl. Form the dough into a smooth ball. Then massage the ball in your hands for about 20-30 seconds. This is just going to test the texture of your dough and make sure you have the correct texture. Your dough should be coming together well and forming a smooth ball very easily. After you've massaged the dough and have the right texture, form the dough back into a ball and place it back into your mixing bowl. Then use a wooden spoon and break up the ball just a little bit. Gradually fold in 56 grams or around a 1/2 cup of the shredded cheese of your choice. I'm using shredded mozzarella cheese. You can use whatever cheese you want. Fold the cheese into the dough in small amounts so it doesn't clump together. Make sure it gets evenly distributed throughout the dough. Then divide the dough evenly amongst your 4 prepared sub bread molds. It's roughly about 7 tablespoons of dough in each mold, give or take a little bit. Then use your fingers or the back of a tablespoon and press the dough evenly throughout the molds. And again, if you don't have the molds, all you need to do is take about 7 tablespoons of the dough and roll it into about a 6-inch log. Think of the shape of a sub bread mold or whatever size of garlic bread you think you're going to want. Place the shaped logs onto a prepared baking sheet. If you're using the molds, place the molds onto a baking sheet. Then place the baking sheets in your preheated oven and bake at 400 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes or until lightly golden around the edges and the tester comes out clean. Once the bread is done baking, remove it from the oven and allow it to cool in the molds or on the pan for about 10 to 15 minutes or until the bread has firmed up a little bit. After the bread is firm, remove it from the molds and transfer it to a wire rack. Then allow it to cool completely before slicing it. Once your bread has cooled completely, preheat your oven again to 400 degrees. Then cut each one of the cooled breads in half vertically so that once you're done cutting them all in half, you're going to have 8 individual garlic breads. In a small bowl, combine a half cup of very soft room temperature butter. Make sure it is very soft. You do not want it melted. You want it just to be soft enough to be able to stir it easily. Add 1 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1 teaspoon of dry parsley or dry oregano. Then use a fork and stir everything all together until it is fully combined and smooth. Spread the mixture evenly over each one of the individual garlic breads. Make sure you get a nice even layer. It's roughly about a tablespoon or so on each one of the breads. If you want to, after you've spread the garlic butter mixture over the bread slices, you can sprinkle the top with a little bit of Parmesan cheese if you want to. I'm just leaving it as it is. Line a large baking sheet with parchment paper and place the individual garlic bread on the baking sheet with your cut side up. Place it back into your preheated oven and bake it at 400 degrees for 8 to 12 minutes or until the edges of the garlic breads are slightly toasted. Once your bread is toasted, remove it from the oven. Allow it to cool for just a couple minutes so you don't burn your fingers. Once the bread is cooled a little bit, remove it from the pan and place it on the serving platter of your choice. You can serve these warm or at room temperature. It's up to you. If you do have any leftovers, store them in an airtight container at room temperature for up to 3 days, or in an airtight container in your refrigerator for up to 5 days, or you can wrap them in some foil and put them in an airtight container in your freezer and freeze them for up to 6 months. Eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.